Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Hey, everybody.
Our consistently inconsistent pre-Sammy show. That's
That's
what we'll
every
call
show that I run or every show that I'm a part of is the consistently inconsistent. So, except for cardboard and cold ones,
it. Yeah. Sammy's
he's
phenomenal at keeping a
consistent.
schedule. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he does his thing and he does it well. So very, very good. Well, welcome everybody. Aaron from Value Vintage and my very good friend, Mr. Jason.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Jumping in. I will try and do my best to help facilitate everyone that's commenting and sharing some stuff on the chat. And we're just kind of going to do our thing. So sometimes we have someone else jump in. Sometimes we just kind of hang out and share an hour and get you guys prepped up for Sammy and the whole evening of lineup. So Alex and four collectors as well.
Yeah, and then it's going to be a 4-pack tonight, I believe. It is actually. Alex did mention he's going to have one, so it should be good. It's fun. As I told you before we jumped on, I'm wearing my Bears jersey, and I'm actually the one who kind of mentioned to Aaron, "Hey, let's do a live," and didn't realize it was during the Bears game. And now that I'm here, I'm thrilled that it is during the Bears game because I don't know if I can watch them anymore this year. It's driving me nuts. So I'm waiting for basketball to come around the corner.
Yeah, it doesn't take long to start waiting for the draft pick.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Well, it's kind of funny because I always we talked about this. I always kind of over prepare. I try and throw together some questions just to give us some framework and some topics to chat about. We might as well get started with something that's going to just make all the viewers leave. And start off with three favorite non-baseball cards. So I thought that was a fun one. I feel like especially myself, I show a lot of baseball, and I am definitely hardcore baseball and a little bit other stuff, but there was other stuff. So
no, you were just saying that. I'm like, shoot, did I forget that? And I had them off on the side here. So
beautiful.
Yes, I pulled that. You are. Well, I don't think people know that your collection is broader than most people would think. You kind of got that moniker of the pre-war pusher and being the baseball guy, but I know you well enough to know that you have plenty of non-baseball stuff. And as I show more than you, I think, on our channels, but you have quite a bit of some really nice non-baseball stuff. So yeah, I thought this was a perfect one to start with. But do you want to kick off a few? Yeah, I'm hoping you picked what I think you picked because you got a lot of cool stuff.
Oh man, now there's pressure. Okay, so I misworded that because I always say like your three favorite. I would be up for weeks trying to just go mind-numbingly insane. Like just three of, not your three favorites. So
right.
I'm just gonna fire through and say some hellos. So we've got
definitely
Phil Necro fan jumping in here. We got Mike Jayhawker. Yeah, Mr. Mike's hanging out. We got I think we've both heard of this guy.
Who is that guy?
Yeah. Joey, it looks like there. Yeah, got Mr. Joe hanging out. So one of these days we'll get him on with us.
Yeah. I was just gonna say the same thing. We're gonna strong arm him.
yeah, at some point. Yeah, he's not sure who he wants to go on with first. It's got to just be both of us, so he'll jump on at some point here.
Right.
I got
Mr. Faulkner, how are you?
Yeah, Jim's hanging out. Got Dougie. What else we got? There you go. I see some folks that you were leaning on too.
Oh yeah, heck yeah,
Brian. There we go. Yeah, Mr. B. Ryan. All right, there you go.
Yes, we were just we were talking about it backstage, Mitchell.
Yeah, quote unquote missing the Bears game.
Right.
It's a little tough for sure. All right, awesome. Yeah, I'm trying to get to at least say some hellos, but do you want to kick us off while I'm scanning through?
Yeah. So again, the topic: show three of your non-baseball cards. Could be anything, right? Could be sports, could be non-sport. I stuck with sports. I do collect pretty much all four of the majors. Probably the hockey the least. But a lot of these have some meaning to me. The cards that I picked, and I did not pick any Michael Jordan cards because I thought that was too predictable. So everybody knows he's my favorite guy to collect outside of baseball. So first card I went with was the 2007 Upper Deck Jonathan Toews. And this was a gift from a friend here locally. We met up at a show. and I couldn't believe he gifted this to me. I think it's a PSA 10. Yeah, it's one of the few 10s that I own.
Wow.
But this was a fantastic era for hockey for the Blackhawks, and for those who don't live in Chicago, they are part of the original six. They did have a run in the early days with Mikita and Hull and all those great players. They had a quick stint in the 90s with Roenick and Chelios and Eddie Belfour, but for the most part, viewership had been down on that organization from the 60s up until this time because of the owner. He wouldn't put him on TV. He was old school. He was that guy who said that if I put him on TV, no one's going to come to the game. And so it was just a real old school way of thinking. So for many years, they lost decades of fans. And I think the Tays, Kane, Seabrook / Duncan Keith era brought them back to the mainstream. And unfortunately, they're horrible again now. But hopefully this young kid that they picked up, who is supposed to be the next Gretzky, is going to change that. Although I don't see him as being the next game changer that Gretzky was, but that's just my opinion. So we overhype things in Chicago.
That's the optimism of youth. Yeah, right there.
Yes,
absolutely.
Should I show? Are we going to switch off, or should I show off?
Yeah, no, you can fire off your three. Let's see where you went. You got hockey. Right. I got a hockey as well. So
I went 83 Bears. Mike Singletary, linebacker for the Bears, part of the 85 team, the greatest team in NFL history, in my opinion. A linebacking organization, right? You went from Butkus, you went to to Singletary, to Urlacher. I mean, it's just we're predicated on that defense and Monsters of the Midway. And that was actually a gift from my wife for Valentine's Day as well. So I thought that had a little meaning. The Tays was a gift. This one, you're gonna, as my collection grows, even with what I'm showing today, you're gonna hear this a lot and a lot more often than I even thought about. I was kind of giggling when I was grabbing cards. So I went Bears again, and this is my 1966 Philadelphia Gale Sayers rookie card. I will say, I said all of these cards have a little meaning to me. And I don't know if the meaning's becoming less because I've got a new side dealer. This was bought off of my friend Joe, who's watching us right now. And, I've bought one or two cards off of him in the past. And then as of late, a good portion of my collection and some of the most meaningful cards in my collection are from him. So you're going to see that quite often. I think I've got 3 cards today if we get to all of our topics that I purchased off of Joe. But to own the Sayers rookie card is phenomenal. And Joe said he'll sell it to me at a great deal, which he always does. But he said, on one predication that you don't grade it. And I said, well, I might have to grade that, Joe. So we'll see if that happens or not. So, but those are my 3 non-baseball.
No, I think that is, I think that's a requirement, not grading it. I think is a fantastic idea.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I love that idea. I love the idea of things that have additional meanings. I don't know if any of mine do, other than they're just cool or goal type cards or things I was shocked I had. So I'll try and go. You didn't do any basketball, did you?
I didn't on purpose.
Double down. Yeah,
I have a ton of basketball. Basketball is what I collect the most next to baseball. So, and I show quite a bit of it. I did a video today. I showed 3 basketball cards that I picked up. So I was trying to sway away. I don't want to show the same thing every time. I want to show something different. So
that's fair. Yeah, I tried to grab some stuff that maybe hasn't been shown. I think they've all been shown at some point. But it is all Chicago legends.
Nice. It.
And this first one I'm going to get lots of, thumbs down on and stuff. But I would have to say my Bobby Orr rookie card. When I say Chicago legend, that's a push. I know. That's really that's a stretch.
Was it 2 years? Was it 2 years or?
I think it was 2. Yeah, I think he has like maybe 2 cards at the end that are Chicago, but yeah, not exactly a whole ton there. But I was so thrilled.
That's an iconic hockey card, and that's the point I was making earlier. I don't know that people know that you have some iconic stuff that I don't think you've shown, or maybe you have. I missed it.
I might have shown this only because I would have shown my biggest cards. This is like a rare outlier. For all 3 major sports, I tried to find one card that was like a marquee, big dollar, big significant, epic iconic cards. So that's the only one out of that group that I would have put in that classification. But the other one, I'll go football, and I will also go Bears, and I will have to go with one that I think you'll support based on what you're wearing today.
Yes, sir. Is that the version that I think it is?
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So second year Walter Payton. This is one. There was another one that just went to auction. I think it was ungraded.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it went for about what I thought. I kind of put a little bid in on it just in case somebody missed it, and I don't think anyone missed it. It went for what I was hoping it would, so that helps to maintain my sanity that I did okay on this. But it's a 1977 Topps Mexican, so there's, I don't know, hundreds of these, but not thousands for sure. So
Tough.
pretty scarce.
Yeah, tough. Actually, tough to find. I put that one in the queue every now and then just to take a peek to see if they're out there. I mean, you'll find one occasionally, but
yeah, I've only got 2 in that entire set. I got that, and I did get a Staubach as well.
okay.
One, yeah. And the other one, I keep pushing you on this. I'm really marketing to you. I'm pre-world pusher, and I'm also Jordan Nike promo pusher. I think this one, in terms of Jordans, I don't think you have to go with the Fleer. I actually got rid of my Fleer for a baseball card, so that's just how it goes. But as long as I have this one, I am pretty darn thrilled with what I've got for Jordan representation.
Well, that's 85, is it not? The promo card?
It is. Yeah.
So, I mean, theoretically, it's a card before the Flair. So,
it is.
Yeah. I mean, what you determine to be the official rookie card, maybe we'll get Victor on someday. But, like, to me, it's like, all right, he was drafted in 84. So, and 86, the Flair year, that was the year he was hurt, wasn't it? I think the second year is when he hurt his leg and missed half the season. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Let me catch up here real quick. So yeah, I thought that was just kind of fun to show a couple of things that we don't always show.
Yeah, no, I love it. That's perfect. And I think I've only shown the Saris once when I got it at the National. It's actually on my desk. It sits on my desk. So I have a little White Sox corner, and then in the other corner is just my Saris rookie. So
nice. Where's the Lefty Grove?
Lefty Grove's right above me.
Okay.
Right above me. I swapped out my Nelly Fox Redman and put the Lefty up there. So
okay. Yeah. It's all about the curating the collection. I think I love that. So.
Exactly right.
Good stuff. Should we jump into, I was going to go back to question 1, which is a little bit more of a non-card, more philosophical question, but
yes, perfect.
How do you define a collector and an investor? Because I feel like this has been just all over the gosh darn place, and you and I tend to steer, we'll throw our 2 cents in, but we tend to not be too strong on the opinion side of things. But I think with this one, I see a lot of the issue really being in terminology and definition.
Vernacular is what I like. Everyone's vernacular and their perception of what that word means to them. I understand the whole terminology of the flipper when we have the old men get off my lawn guys like us talking about vintage. But in reality, I think a lot of collectors are investors. I think a lot of collectors value those pertain to them and maybe is built up to the point where it's actually part of their portfolio and means something to them down the road. I was out with my buddy Steve Vintage on Vintage yesterday. We went to 3 different card shops and just hung out and went on the hunt and had a good time. And this topic came up. We were talking. And he said to me, and it kind of like lit a bulb in my head. He said, I have a great collection. I'm proud of my collection. There are guys out there with monster collections. And I told him, I said, Steve, I'm not even insured. I said, I don't even feel I'm big enough to be insured yet at this point. And he said, well, here's the thing that I look at. He's like, if I were to die tomorrow, or if something were to happen to me and my family had to rely on my baseball card collection as a main income to them, he said, that's a problem. And I said, you know what? You're right. He's like, then we didn't do something right. We didn't invest properly in our 401ks. We didn't save properly in the manner that we're supposed to save. So he said, this is fun. And I said, that's an awesome point. So let's just keep it like that. That's how I like it. But as the collection grows, as the collection gets bigger, out of responsibility, you have to start insuring them. You have to start thinking about these things because you don't want your family to lose out on the value of stuff that you have. A perfect example of that to me is you. You're quietly sneaky, have an amazing collection. To me, you do. So I think, people need to be cognizant of it. So do I think that being a quote unquote investor is ruining the hobby? No, I do not. I do not. You collect any way you want and you collect for any reason you want. It doesn't mean anything to me. If that's your main goal, God bless. If you're flipping cards, God bless. We know plenty of people who are flipping cards in order to enhance their hobby. They're flipping cards to go buy other cards that they want. My buddy Steve's an example. Mark Dodger's card is an example. I've watched you make some pretty massive trades. Get out of something to get into something. We know Joe, our buddy Joe, does that. Mm-hmm. So I think it all encompasses just what the hobby means to you and how are you. I think you had mentioned the word in one of your videos, when you were talking about, the vernacular. I think you said hoarder. I always joke and tell people I'm a hoarder because I don't get rid of anything. But you know what? As time goes on, I pulled the trigger on a few cards in the last couple of years, which I never thought I would. And now I'm starting to analyze that. Maybe that's the way I might want to go. So again, investor, collector, flipper, dealer, whatever you want to call yourself. If there's movement in the hobby with the cards, that can only be a good thing, right? It keeps the motion of the hobby going. So I don't get too hung up on that. If you value your cards, if the most important thing in the world to you is the value of your card, I don't look down on that. That's how you choose to collect. That's how you look at things. That's fine. That's your deal. That's, it's just not a real big thing to me. That's how I look at it, at least.
So here's what I would say. I feel like we're saying, are you tall or short? And it's not so much yes or no. I'm definitely a collector. I buy, I target certain cards because they fit in my collection, and I have the intention of adding that one to my collection, and I plan to hold it forever. And if it goes up with inflation, like I hope it does, then I'm thrilled enough, and I don't, I'm not trying to sell it in 3 years and put my kids through college. That's not the intention at all. Where I think people, it's almost like they treat it like it's a bad word. If I grab, it's going to be silly, but I mean, this is what I have sitting next to me. That card wasn't free or cheap. And if it goes to zero tomorrow, I am a little sad. I got to admit, I'm hoping this at least kind of maintains, because I didn't skip lunch to buy that. That was a few dollars more. And based on historical thoughts and observations, I think it will go up. Will I get rid of it? My kids will get rid of it when I'm gone.
Right. I'm
not worried about it as like investment, like I've never came home and said like, dude, my Pepsi stock is looking sweet today. I better, buy some, you buy some shares, you get some dividends, it goes up, you're good. Cards are different.
Right. Is it human nature to say nobody wants to see anything they own go to zero, right? Nobody. I mean, that's human nature. I don't care if it's cards. The worst thing in the world is, and probably the worst investment in the world is buying an automobile, right? Yes. You want to buy the automobile that you want to enjoy it. If you've got the expenses, if you want to buy a Range Rover, if you want to buy a Porsche, the last thing you want to see is for it to lose value. 98% of the cars that you purchase in today's society are going to lose value. So, I mean, that's just what it is. It's a kick in the butt. Nobody wants it, but it's just a different way to look at it. And cards are different, just like you said. Cards are different.
Yeah. I think getting it off of the yes, no, I am this, I am that. I've said it. I think people took it wrong, but if you're truly a collector, and I have some cards I've truly collected. And that means it's probably like for my kids. Like I have a garbage pail kid that has my kid's name in it.
Right.
I don't know what I paid. If it's worth nothing, I'm completely fine. And if I paid 4 times what was fair, I'm okay. I would never pay 4 times what it's worth and feel okay.
Right. Exactly.
You're like, those go for $2,000. I'm like, is 9 okay? I'll give you 9.
Right.
I just want it. I'm a true collector. I want that. It's a nice example. I'll give you way more than it's worth. Would never do.
Well, it's much to what we were saying earlier before we jumped on. We were talking about making content, which we both do, and enjoying what we do because it's part of our hobby. But I always giggle when we talk about cards. I had mentioned, Mookie, well, let me.
We'll throw that
Mookie,
one
you're
in
always welcome in my piece of crap car.
there.
But we had mentioned that, well, we don't want to mention too many cards if we're still on the hunt for them, right?
Yeah.
All it takes is one or two people. You had said that, and I took that, that the light bulb went off in my head when you said that. And there's some truth to that. I'm not some expert. I'm not a professional card collector. I'm like everybody else who's watching us and everybody else who, comments and puts a thumbs up. We're the same people. I want the deal. I don't have endless funds. So, we got to keep perspective of what this is. And there is some validity to what my good friend Chris from Missouri says. This is a hobby, guys. Relax.
Yeah.
Let's just enjoy the hobby for what it is.
Yeah.
If someone's got more expendable money to spend on cards than I do, that's okay. I'm fine in my lane, and let's just have a good time and share what we can. As cliche as that all sounds, that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. All right, we'll call that a dead issue, and it's all terminology. I'm good with that. Let's jump to my question 7. So that is, what is the third most iconic baseball card of all time? I picked that specifically because I think I didn't get to participate. I don't think you did either, because I see most of your stuff. Mike Moynihan, baseball collector, asked for most iconic cards, and it was really interesting to see what people picked. And some people were way out there in interesting land, and some people were right in line with what I would think, and there was majorities and there was different things, but it was an interesting evaluation and survey and results for sure. I don't know. I feel like anyone that's on my wavelength in terms of thinking, the top 2 have to be obvious.
So yeah, and I was just gonna actually, and obviously I don't have any of the 3, including the third. I think you have the third that I might mention. But so of the 3, to me, and I guess it comes down to, well, so I'm gonna take my thought behind all of this is when you go beyond the collecting stratosphere, the collectors, this small little community that we have, and what do people talk about outside in the world who don't collect? And it's the 52 Mantle. Right.
Yep.
That's got to be one. For many years in my head, it wasn't one. It was the Honus Wagner, T206 Honus Wagner. That would be 2 for me. And then I kind of melded a little bit of the hobby into 3. You can kind of switch out a couple cards, I think, in the third hole. But I think if I were to say the third hole, what's the third most iconic card? Some of this is collective perspective. I would probably say the 54 Hank Aaron. Those would probably be my 3.
Wow.
Yes.
Interesting.
Now, do you have the 54 Hank?
I do.
I thought you did. That's why I was saying. Now, if you don't, when I say you can switch out, to me, you can switch out that Hank with a Jackie, right? Because Jackie goes beyond collecting.
Sure.
I don't know which Jackie it would be. Probably the 56 is the most recognizable of Jackie Robinson cards outside of the collecting hobby. I don't think people, if I showed my brother, who's a sports fan, a 59 Leaf, I don't think he would know it's a Leaf. He wouldn't know that, if I showed him the All-Star card, or the picture or whatever you want, photo, he wouldn't know. So to me, I kind of melded in the third one. I brought some of the hobby thoughts in that the 54 inch is pretty iconic. So I'm really curious to get you. We didn't talk about this. So I'm really curious to get your perspective on this because I wanted to see where you were going.
I would flip flop your 1 and 2 with my version, is only because I've had that forever, and I those 2 have to be the top 2. If they're not, yes. I don't know what's going on in the world, and I'm thrown off. People put 89 Upper Deck Griffey, like amazing, iconic, game changer, but not.
Right.
So for me, Wagner's the ultimate. That's the card that I would. They say, what does Petty say? Like, never say never, but I mean, that's got to be one. And
right.
If you're not,
right.
That crosses collector and investor. If you have that kind of money for just fun,
yes,
that's a 2 comma on a bad day.
Yep.
So that would be my one. A Mantle, I think that'll hopefully be a card at some point. I'll acquire a 52 tops Mantle. My third one I do have, and it's not the Hank, and it's actually one that I think kind of cheated its way in the list because it was really tough to pick which one. But to me, 33 Gaudy Babe Ruth, and because there's four poses, I think people have seen one of those four. But 33 Gaudy, I think, also carries some clout that I think you have to carry with it. So that gets you a tobacco card, a Gaudy card, and a tops card in your top three. So that's my top three. But
that definitely would have hit my was up there on my list, and that's why in explaining myself, if you step outside of the collecting realm, people are non-collectors. There's going to be a Babe Ruth in there, right? Just so happens, if I'm not mistaken, that was the double printed Ruth in the Gaudy set. So you picked the most popular one, or the most printed one at least.
yeah,
So
the
for
most
what it's
available
worth,
one.
yeah. So I think for what it's worth, it would possibly even be that Ruth. Yeah, that's where I was gonna go, and then I kind of leaned towards, well, everybody, I want a 54 Aaron. You and I, we talk a lot about when we see each other in Strongsville and hopefully in Nationals. And Strongsville's, I save money for Strongsville, and I want to get something special and something to remember things by, and I want to get something that not everybody has. I'm kind of shifting my mindset that, I need some of those iconic cards like you and Joe, and you guys have a lot of them already. I need a 54 Banks rookie card. I need one. And so that's a card I might stray away from the pre-war at Strongsville. We'll see how things go, but I might actually go, you can always get them, but yeah, now I've got the money. It's in my pocket. Maybe I just get them now. So
Yeah,
before they keep going up in price. So, that's, I'm kind of figuring out what I want to do at Strongsville still. So, but we got months for that. So
yeah, we got a little bit of time yet still. So yeah, it's good stuff. I thought that was just a kind of a shortened twist on it. Obviously, if you talk about all 10, you're really getting into some discussion and trying to rank things and some different aspects. But I thought just adding one more to that list, and I'm glad we agreed on the top two, or we'd have to just stop doing this little live.
Yeah, and well, even 1 and 2, like for years, 1 and 2 was my order, was the same order yours was. And just recently, from a pop culture standpoint, I think the 52 Mantle's overtaken the Wagner simply because of its notoriety. If you ask me which one I would prefer, it's the Wagner, of course. That's just me. So
yeah, I think the fact that there's 52 tops Mantles selling for the same as the Wagner. I mean, it used to be Wagner would hit big six figures, and the Mantle was still $8,000 or whatever it was back in 1980 something. So it's just a different world now that's got a 2 comma price to it if it's in a decent shape. I think I went with it. I mean, look at like value, scarcity, all the different components that there's no such thing as a Wagner you can pick up for $30,000, whereas you can still grab you can find Mantles at Strongsville. You won't probably find unless one of the big houses has it there and they're showing off auction cards or something. You might see a Wagner, but it's not in a dealer showcase too often.
No, definitely not. And Brian brings up a good point. Green T206 Cobb. Yeah, now but to me, we're getting into the weeds a little bit of collectors, right? And that Cobb is very well known, but is he Ruth? Is he Jackie? Is he, although Honus is he Mickey Mantle? No, Cobb's probably one of the greatest. Another conversation for another time, but I just don't think Cobb's name carries the validity that Ruth carries, or a Hank Aaron, or a Mickey Mantle, at least for this generation in this current time.
Yeah, it's interesting times. Yeah, folks are throwing out some other really cool, even Henderson rookie, like that's in the top 10. It's just a matter of where you want to rank things. And I mean, 81 tops Harold Baines, that's
a
definitely
given.
top. That's a top 10er. Gotta be.
That's given. That's a given. All of them, not just tops, Flair, the whole 9. So.
Yeah. Is there really a bad Harold Baines card? I don't think. I don't think we can find one.
Right.
Goofy. All right, let's hop. I think we did fine there. I appreciate everybody jumping in and sharing some ideas. Let's see. Oh, here we go. A pre-war set or two. We'll go two. That you feel deserves a bigger following.
Yes. So again, I touched on it slightly. You don't want to mention too much if you're still looking to gather cards, right? I have
True.
seen values going up on some of the sets that I really enjoy, but at the end of the day, life is life, and I'm going to get them anyway. So I'm looking for the best deal I can. I'm not buying massively expensive cards, so therefore I'll pay the extra to have them. The one that I push the heck out of, and everybody knows I push the heck out of them because I there is still value there. The value was insane a year ago. Less than dozens of dollars, to quote you, if you were looking for specific things. So the 35, you can call it 35 to 40 if you want to. The Wheaties panels, I absolutely think there's a tremendous amount of value there. And I just grabbed one. I grabbed this one in specific. So the reason I grabbed this one was because it's not the full panel. So this is Charlie Gehringer. This is 37. I don't have all knowledge of the series yet, so I don't know what series it is. Might even say on here, but the full panel would have red or would have the orange on the top and the bottom. But if you're not a stickler for that and you just want a piece of that history, and you want to say this is playing days, Charlie Gehringer, you can get this stuff for dozens of dollars, and this was under $50. I think it was under $40 if I'm not mistaken. Beautiful image. Awesome write-ups and illustrations. I will be completely transparent. You are the one who turned me on to these. I think I watched one of your videos and you turned me on to these. And I absolutely fell in love with them. So this, 35, I call it 35 to 40 because there's a few in the 40, and some of the 40s are expensive. But they're up there in price depending on who you're looking for. But in comparison to the player's panel versus an actual card, it's a fraction of the price, right? So if you want to get into a Playing Days DiMaggio, it's a fraction of the price compared to his Gaudy cards. If you want to get into Jimmy Fox, and he's not cheap, but you can find Jimmy Fox for $100. That's it's gonna be tough to find a card of Jimmy Fox for $100 that doesn't look like a truck ran it over. So that was my first set. The second set, I kind of credit Mangini because the first time I saw it was on his, and I think he just did a video on it, not on this set, not too long ago. I absolutely love it. I think you did a video showing some of them, but it's the 39 Gaudy premiums. This being the sepia tone, and I only grabbed one card of each. I have several from the sets. This I got at the National. Oversized for the win, right? I pushed the heck out of it. So do you. Value. The backs are absolutely phenomenal. The images are amazing. There's just everything. There's nothing, aside. If you don't like oversized, I totally understand that. But if oversized doesn't buy you or doesn't bother you, this is a set you have to look at. And again, affordable. I think this was $80 or $90. So again, depending on the player, it's a cheaper DiMaggio as opposed to his 38 Gaudy or 39 play ball. The 39 Gaudy premium is a beautiful image of them. They get expensive. There's a Canadian, I think I watched your video this morning. There's a Canadian issue of them, and they can get quite pricey, but they're if you're looking to collect Hall of Famers, if you're looking to learn about players, and Bill Dickey definitely falls into the top maybe 5 to 10 catchers of all time. So it's just a great way to go. So I went too oversized, shocker. And you had influence on me with this as well. I just credit Mangini because the first time I saw them was with Mangini. But
no, that's one. If we can delete this video real soon, I still have a few of those I want to pick up, and I'd prefer no one else to know that they exist. So.
Right, I know. and I think, like I said, we were talking. You said, "Oh, that's a selfish." I think you did a video where you're like, "Oh, it's selfish of me to say that," and I just kept saying, "No, it's not. We're collectors. We're no different. We don't, as much as we want to share, we want to purchase and add too, and we want the deal as well." So.
Yeah, there's two things. There's one set that I will reveal once I pick up a couple more big ones, and there's another kind of collecting mindset that Joe is watching, and I always say Joe will rough me up if I mention this too much. So I'm gonna just keep those two topics off the table. But it's especially when you're getting close. I mean, most of these things are stuff that comes up every 6 months or whatever kind of crazy stuff, and the last thing you need is another person to be like, that is cool. Like, no, it's not. Leave it alone.
Right.
Yeah, Matt jumped in and was saying 29 Cashin, which is another one of our favorites collectively.
Both of those, and then he mentioned the butter. You did a video on the Butterfingers recently, so I stayed away from that. Cashin was gonna hit my list as well. Though I right now my I can be totally transparent. The sets I'm really enjoying collecting right now are the Butterfingers, the Cashin, the Gaudy Premiums, and the Wheaties panels. Those are like those are my searches every day. Yeah. And I know what's out there on them just because I really enjoy those sets. I'm starting to dive into the W517. You know, you would mention that to me, and I know Mangini and Rick did a whole thing on that as well. And then I'll get into, you know, some of the older stuff, some of the American caramels and things of that nature too. So
yeah, W554 is great. It's basically cash-ins, but even tougher.
Yes.
So yeah, that's fun stuff. But I don't know why I just said that. I don't have enough of those yet, and I think I've got the Ruth and Gehrig and 2 Lefty Groves, so I'm okay.
You're
I can
good then. Then you're good.
Yeah, there's a couple more I need, but there's the Ruth is right up there. The Butterfingers that kind of got rotated through. That's the fun of doing the videos, is you get to kind of rotate and curate, and so share it that way.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go down here. I did see a comment that I think I want to share, because if I'm taking my turn, Doug, man, those Ferguson Bakery felts, every time people show those, people say how cool they are. And that was one of my picked. Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
Yeah. Oversized, interesting, different. It's the M101 4 and 5 images, which to me is one of the best sets out there as well. And then you get something just different and cool. And I haven't shared these in a while. I've got a video I need to do at some point that Doug knows about and has helped me with. But yeah, Chief Bender and Eddie Collins. And these are beautifully like an extreme bargain. I mean, that Eddie Collins, I don't know if you can get a 1 or 2 with the M101 4s and 5s for the same price as this, and this is pretty fun.
Very fun. Yes.
Yeah, I would definitely put that as one of them. The other one, I feel like I rotate through, and I've almost like reinvigorated. I think actually it was John showed one. He showed a Ty Cobb, and I was like, that's a good point. And I started pulling these, and I think I've shown them before to you, actually, trying to convince you this is a route. But the T202s, you essentially get like a slightly more plain T205 out of it. But the more you dive in and read the back, and you get the action shots, so you have like Ty Cobb sliding, so you get a bonus Ty Cobb, and that's an image you don't see really anywhere else. It's almost like you get a little photograph in between. I just landed one, which I'll be sharing at some point, and it's one of the tough ways to get a Joe Jackson, which is super cool. There's not a lot of sets you can get a Ty Cobb, a Joe Jackson, Mordecai Brown, Walter Johnson, and I just picked up this one that I thought was really, really neat. Chief Bender, and the middle image is him batting.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, to me, that's how cool is that? And they're very affordable. I think just because the size, people are oversized haters. So
right. I feel like those are gaining steam a little bit in the community. I think a lot of people who kind of collect in my manner, and are budget limited, that's a fantastic way to go. And definitely need to add a few to the list. There's no question about that. And the Ferguson Bakeries, I love them. So I think those are awesome.
Yeah, just fun stuff. And we're just throwing out ideas. It's not the biggest. What else we got? 34 batter
up. I'm with you. I got my first one at the National.
Yeah, absolutely. Fatima's T200s.
Yep.
Marked.
Got my first one at the National pin up.
Yeah.
So
yeah, those are super cool. This is a great one too.
That's a great one.
60 premiums.
Those are climbing.
Let's hide that real quick. That doesn't count. No, that's a great idea. Talk about another one of the phenomenal collectors.
Yeah. Oh, did you freeze up on me a little bit?
Sorry, we're back.
We're
back. Sorry about that.
No worries. No worries.
I'm over here navigating two device in it, just trying to keep up. Oh, come on. No, 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 no. Just kidding. Yeah. 33 Gaudi is what we meant to say. No one's heard of
Right.
that, but
33 Gaudi and 56 tops.
yeah, yeah, yeah. 87 tops. You heard of it? Wood grain. Really
Right,
cool.
right.
Really, really neat. No, that was fun. All right. All right. We're cruising through some questions. This is going
Good.
good. Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to skip that one for a second. I'm going to come back to it if I can. It's number 2. I'm going to come back to that in a second. I
Okay.
want to go to number 4 because it's a thought question.
Okay.
Number 4. Would you rather? This is a collector mindset question. Add a 1950s Topps card for half price, or a super scarce pre-war card at a fair price.
So one more time, because I think I know the answer already. I wanted to catch it one more time.
Yeah. Would you rather add a 1950 Topps card for half price, or a super scarce pre-war card at a fair price?
Yeah, I think, and that's what you collect and where you collect at the time you're collecting it. Mine would be a pre-war card at a fair price, 100%. And I experienced that with last year's Strongsville. Got a very fair price on a bigger card, and the enjoyment that I have is I still talk about it. I'll probably, if we get to a certain question, show it again. And I just, to me, the joy out of it is huge. Now, as you start collecting and as you collect more and as your collecting habits change, I feel like more scarce is where everyone leans towards, right? Some stay in the golden era, 50s, 60s, and we even call it 70s lane, and that's awesome. I'm still in that lane. I have so much of that I still want. And I still get joy out of every card that I'm purchasing, even if it's $1. Otherwise, I wouldn't buy it. There's no sense to, that you have to have some joy in that.
Yeah.
But to be able to land a card that you never thought you would own, or a card that is iconic in your mind, it's something special. And right now, I am in that pre-war lane, and I really am. And I'm fighting myself as to if, at Strongsville, am I going to go pre-war? Basically this question, or am I maybe not half price, or am I going to go golden era iconic that I just want to add? Where do I want to spend my dollars? I have a hunch I know which way it's going to go because of who I'll be hanging out with at Strongsville, but and it just gets in my head. It's already, I want to add an M101-2, and I want to add a Ferguson, and so I am a volume collector. So if I could add sets like that, and I don't consider myself, I'm kind of a type collector, but if I can add those sets to my collection of players that I want, that means more to me than adding my third Carl Yastrzemski or my second Mickey Mantle or things of that nature. That it holds more value to me for my collecting experience.
Yeah. So here's 2 classic comments. Don Lossy is all you at Strongsville.
Given. That's a given.
Yeah, that's got to be in the mix. And the next one is about as classic Joe as it gets. Take the Topps for half price, sell it, get a different pre-war card.
I don't have the patience that Joe has for that. So again, hobby experience is important to me. That is a huge part of Joe's hobbies experience.
Yeah.
And he's mastered it and conquered it. Another one, Joe Redneck Collector. He's mastered finding the deal. And nothing makes me happier than to see those guys succeed at that. I don't know that I have the patience for it. I just don't know if I do. That's why having Joe as a friend is so perfect for me, because I'm like, when he's ready to do that, I'm like, okay, well then I'll buy off of you, So I keep telling him, you got to make money off of me, though. You got to make some money off of me, otherwise it ain't worth it. So.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, we got the Joes doubling down here on the name thing. The other one I'll add is Mark does that, Dodgers cards. Yes. I'm going to be meeting up with him. We're going to be walking a show here in the next several weeks, and that's going to be a fun experience because he's traveling out my direction, so I get to hook up with him for a quick day and walk a big show. So that's going to be fun.
Very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah,
what show are you guys going to?
Chantilly.
Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome.
I've never been. I don't think he's ever been, but he's out here for business, so I'm gonna jet up and catch up with him. So yeah, I'm pumped. It's gonna be fun because it's this. Sometimes this is as much as you get for a few months of just getting to chat or do a live with somebody. So it's nice to be face to face and shake hands and walk a show.
I'm guessing you'll see others too. There's a lot of guys that go to that show.
Yeah, I'd imagine. Yeah. So word is out. I'll be there at least for one day for some hours. So we'll see how it goes.
Cool.
But
Cool.
yeah, really good stuff.
You didn't answer. You need to answer.
Well, yeah. Yeah. So here's what I'll say. I'll answer this way, and it's the way I will do Strongsville. So if you go with a budget and you know you can spend X, that's why I never get quite back to a lot of the classic stuff. Is I walk and I say, if I'll never see this again, I should probably go after that. Scarce at a fair price is where I live my world right now. I do have a fair amount, but I even moved out of some of that, and I was trading the 48 Bowman Musial last year, and I traded some Jackies, and I traded some Manals, and I traded my Koufax rookie. I traded some stuff that was classic, iconic stuff, and some of it I'll get back at some point. But you can get this once and maybe not again for 6 months or 6 years, or you can get this, every 6 weeks when there's a big show somewhere. So that's kind of how I gauge it. So I always go scarce. I always go rare. I always go tough to find again.
Gee, that was a shocker. I was stunned by that answer.
Right? Isn't that surprising?
I give people credit for that, and watching people, and I feel like I've kind of done it. I actually had Drew Clean Cheap Shots on one of my videos said, what influenced you to get into all this pre-war? Because I was the Golden Era guy, and I think I answered. I said, the real simple is Mangini, my buddy Joe, my buddy Aaron. Like that's what influenced. Didn't take long, and then I started learning and reading and finding out about all these great players. And I said, yeah, didn't take a whole heck of a lot to get me there. But I always give credit to those who can shift their mentality like that. Sammy's a great example. He did a video not too long ago how he started set collecting, then he went to Rookie Hall of Famers. Now he's rare and scarce and a player collector, and I think that's cool to see the maturation of someone's collection grow in front of us because we have this now. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it's really neat too. I mean, the folks that kind of email me or text me, whatever else, and we've connected with more than just occasionally catching a video here or there kind of thing, but we're really getting to know each other. Exact same mindset, and Sammy's somebody now that I think our collecting evolution's pretty similar. We have a lot of similar mindset. He kind of jokes around with me about being a player collector, because I'm like, well, it's more top 40 than it is top 3, but
right.
But at the same time, like the mindset of what we look for in an auction or at a card show or whatever else is very, very similar type of item. So
yep.
Yeah, it's very cool. Very, very cool. We have about 10 minutes left, and the questions I had left that I thought were fun were 2, 10, and 6, but we can go anywhere you want.
Well, whatever floats your boat, my friend. You drive, and I'll figure it out. I didn't even have the questions up. I was relying on you, so I can put them up here.
Do you want to talk grading, or do you want to talk baseball records and show some cards?
We'll do that. Let's talk. I think grading. We'll try to sneak them both in. I'll be quick with the baseball records. So you want to do baseball records?
Yeah, I think that was a fun one. I've been trying to do this video for a while, and I keep coming up with it's almost too much. So I'm like, let's just shorten this down and do something kind of fun. So share 3 records and cards of players that you think will never be broken.
Yes. So, which is kind of somewhat of an oxymoron, right? Records are made to be broken, but are there records that'll never be broken? Yes, there are. And 2 come to mind real quick, and I didn't select either of them. One of them, I don't have a card for the gentleman. So I went with all-time hits. We all know who that is. So I grabbed this. I just recently bought this. It was a whopping $1. 81 Pete Rose, but it's the Coca-Cola version again, and even influencing me on the new stuff. I think I saw this on the Coca-Colas on your channel. I'm like, I'm gonna go get one of those.
Absolutely. Coke and Peachy, that's how you do it.
Yeah. So I grabbed Pete for the all-time hits. Thought don't see that happening anytime soon. So yeah. Another one which I don't think is going to get broken. And if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. Most no-hitters of all time. Nolan Ryan, 7 no-hitters in his career. That's absolutely insane to me. So I just grabbed his 84. And then lastly, this one could get broken. There's only 2 players who've eclipsed 70 home runs in a season. Obviously, no one's hit 73. So Barry Bonds was my 3rd selection. And when I say 2 players, he did it twice and McGuire did it once. So this is the standard. This isn't the Tiffany. So Topps traded Barry. But those were my 3. There are 2 records that instantly came to my head. And I didn't know if you were going to pick them or not. And one of them, I don't have a card of the gentleman, so I didn't select that, obviously. So
You want to share what it is, just in case I guarantee I didn't pull it because I went with really interesting, obscure things.
Okay, so DiMaggio, 56-game hitting streak.
Okay. You know what's funny? I actually pulled that as an example of a record that gets shared a lot that I think can be broken. I think it's tough. And this is where my mind went to. So we're all on a text group, I feel like it's interesting when you get into the community because you end up on groups of 20 and groups of 10 and groups of, and I have all these numbers flying in. I'm like, I don't know who that is. I think this guy's in Texas. I don't know what that is. And then you get the ones where you're like, all right, those are the people I've watched shows with. And that's, I had beers with these people. And so we're on one of those chats and Matt's here. He was sharing that he, ended up going down the rabbit hole for an hour on Baseball Reference. And when's the last time you had a season with, less than 10 players hitting over 300 in a league and back-to-back seasons and, just really, really neat stuff. So, people are going through all these, and some of mine aren't even records. They're going through some of these ideas. Cy Young. Yes, I agree. That's where my mindset goes to. It's the evolution of the game. So the 3 I pulled are ridiculous. This guy everyone's heard of, and I'm glad Doug's seeing this. That's that's the Herpelsheimer. So super cool card, super tough card. Getting into vocabulary, this is rare. It's not scarce. It's rare. 1922 season. I'm going to pull that one out in particular. I think you'll never see this accomplishment again. Maybe it's not a record, but it's an accomplishment. Maybe that's where my vocabulary went bad. 1922, Mr. Sisler had 18 triples and 14 strikeouts. I think you will never see a season where somebody has more triples than strikeouts.
That's insane.
Done, period. It's been done a few times back in that era. That was, different style of baseball, different world. I get it. I'm not,
Do you know who else? Who else did it? Do you know anyone?
No, but no. So when you Google something that has that long of a stretch, they're just like, nah. Ty Cobb, they don't know what to do. They kind of
right.
Yeah, it kind of breaks it. So the research is manual. It's Baseball Reference and searching and things like that guy was good, but there's always some, Doug Finch that you've never heard of that somehow had 11 triples and 4 strikeouts. What was that guy? So that happens. Another one, go with this one. We're down to just a few minutes, so this might have to be our grand finale, so I apologize. 1911, which is the year before he accomplished this. That's a Brunner bred of Mr. Frank Home Run Baker. That year, he had the accomplishment of having, and I think Cobb did this, and I think one other player did, actually led the league in home runs and still had more stolen bases than strikeouts.
Jesus, that's insane.
How's that for tough?
That is, that's ridiculous. My gosh.
So the formula, you have to be the power hitter that leads the league, not strike out much, and actually steal enough bases to outdo your strikeouts. That's not happening in today's world.
No, not at all. That's too specialized. Man, you went deep in the weeds. I feel like I copped out.
No. Well, this is why the video hasn't come out yet. My brain is just reeling in what this could be. My last one is another guy that isn't surprising. It's a 1910. I don't know. I should have pulled a T206. I pulled a 1914 card. Another player I collect, shocker. But in 1910, he had the distinguished accomplishment of leading the league in both shutouts and saves. That will also not happen ever again because of our game's evolution. So he had, that was 7 saves and 6 shutouts, and saves weren't really a stat back then, but retroactively they went back and said Mordecai Brown led the league in both.
He's high on my list. I love this T205. I do. So that might be an option for me as well. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. M101-2 of him is terrible. It's a dumb card. No one should ever buy that.
Right. That's a horrible
I'm
image.
throwing mine away soon. Pure garbage. No, sorry.
We are selfish. We are selfish.
We are needing little competition. That's just kind of what it is. Yeah, let me wrap out here. I gotta make sure I'm catching up on everybody. Rare.
I like my steak rare. As do I, Mook. As do I.
Hey, broccoli's good. I actually like broccoli. Little baby trees. Joe Sewell, good call on that one. That struck out like less than once a month. It was pretty crazy.
Right.
Owen Wilson. Yeah, there's definitely some players that are in the mix back in the old era. Yeah, that'd be a fun one. More triples and strikeouts kind of video or something. Just see where it goes. But
I went. I feel like I copped out. Like you went deep in the weeds. I need to do that now.
No, it's fun. I mean, you'll need an hour, and like Matt said, like you check in, you're like, hey, I'm just wondering, and an hour later, what the heck? And who is that guy?
Right,
but
right.
You just end up diving and you learn.
Funny thing is, neither of us brought up the games played streak, the Ripken. Like, who's breaking that? I don't see that happening anytime soon. So.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very, very true. Yeah, Nolan Ryan's. I mean, people get pulled now with a no-hitter because of pitch count.
Right, so exactly.
The odds of his being broken is very minuscule, but
right,
it is what it is.
No, that was perfect.
Yeah,
well, my friend, I'd say this is successful. I know we got Sammy coming up next. I don't want to step on his toes as we're rolling into his time.
Absolutely, yeah. Hopefully, we warmed up a few folks that are going to be able to stick around and keep chatting and see if Sammy knows who has more triples and strikeouts in a season and keep that rolling.
I'm going to ask him.
He's like, what are these people with baseball reference all night just ask me obscure questions? I don't know where that came from, Sammy. I don't know. I'm sorry about that. No, hopefully everybody has a fun night. Appreciate everybody jumping in and sharing some thoughts and some ideas, and we'll have to do this again. We're very consistently inconsistent, so I don't know.
We're always good at that. I can guarantee you that. No, but it worked out well, and we've got. If I'm not mistaken, last time I checked, the Bears were winning. So this is crazy day for me. So I'm going to continue to watch YouTube content over the Bears anyway. So at this point in time, so
yeah. Well, they only win when you're not watching, so I think you need to stay away.
And I'm fine with that. I'll probably have more hair because of it. So
that's valid. All right, sir. Well, we'll jump and we will catch up with everybody next time, probably in a couple of weeks when we get a chance to do this again.
All right. Thanks everybody for jumping on.
All right. Thanks everybody. Appreciate you.